120 started to struggle versus Life and versus Kaho. Is that game tape for Moon? 120 lost the final versus Kaho in Taigu Cup this Sunday with 3-0. He also faced elimination against Life in the quarterfinal and could have been eliminated there already. Can Moon do what Life and Kaho were able to do? Or can 120 find his stride once again? The winner of this goes up 2-0 in the group stage, where the top 4 qualify for the offline event in Hangzhou. So far, the game has started. We get DK versus Demon Hunter. This will be your setup pretty much throughout the entire series. We got a Demon Hunter level 2. Good start for Moon with a very tanky Demon Hunter. Very good as well. So, very important here. If you can, delay level 2 Death Knight. You don't want more movement speed on the enemy units. You can easily get surrounded and body blocked with ghouls, and ghouls can easily overwhelm you.
Orc Mirror, pure cinema.
Exactly, Serbian. Thank you. Demon Hunter wants to delay this for as long as possible and ideally kill some ghouls in the early game. There's always a rotation. Ghouls are used for creeping. They tank a little damage. They get rotated onto lumber and then heal for free in the base. This is where you can intercept them. But Moon stealing a little green camp away. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so far so good. In the Night Elf tactic department, it's been a bit of a, I don't want to say discussion. I don't know if the guys discussed this, but some open up with immolation, some open up with mana burn. It's a little bit of a style preference. Both works. So far, we've seen good immolation. Immolation enables creeping. It's very good against ghouls. Mana burn, on the other side, puts more pressure on the enemy hero. And on a per map basis, can be used against creeps as well. And 120 finally reaching level 2. Archers are coming in. They can hide. 120 doesn't have dust. And the Wisp is here for the detonate. Moon is doing a phenomenal job in the first 5 minutes slowing down this Death Knight. He was in the middle, contested this. At the Mammoth spot, contested this. And at the green spot, contested this. I think it's a very good sign that Moon is coming prepared. As so often, Moon might not be in... Moon might not be able to show his best when he's in a bracket. Moon is able to show his best if he has... The more time Moon has to prepare for an opponent, the better Moon is. And this schedule has been out for a couple of days. He knew this would be coming. He probably didn't need to put so much effort into practicing versus Ice Orc. He got a great Orc matchup in general, but versus 120. That is the matchup that he finally wants to break. And he's coming in hot with Cold Arrow, ironically. Is you're hot and you're cold. Katy Perry cute. But 120 also. Body block. Can he save that ghoul? No, he can't. So, good and bad here. Moon killing some ghouls. Very good. His creep is getting disrupted, though. Trying to get the aggro away from the Ancient of War. It is the Katy Perry hero combo. That's right. Demon Hunter getting... Oh, he is... He doesn't have a TP. He doesn't have a staff for 20 seconds. There's a Nova. Lucky. Lucky, lucky, lucky Moon that this Demon Hunter didn't die here. Okay, this could have gone sideways, but sometimes you need to be a little lucky. chaotic situation. We were operating on 2 screens. 1-0 gives up on the creep contest. He gave up pretty much the entire mid game in favor of a DK Lich combo. Has to bang out the coil before the mana gets burned. Quickly came from Katy Perry to Daft Punk. Lucky. Or Britney Spears.
A player's forces are under attack.
I was more of a Christina guy myself, though. Let's see if things get dirty. So, 1-0 is trying to bridge the time for the power spike of Undead. That is tier 3. Orb, super strong. Destroyer, super strong. Worms, super strong. This is what Moon has to play against. With Dryads and Bears.
A player's forces are under attack.
And then we'll see if 1-0 is able to close out the game with a worm push that is incredibly deadly. Because it usually arrives before all the answers of Moon are on the field. Or if we go into the new norm of this matchup, and that is the super late game with double worm, double wagon.
A player's forces are under attack.
We have to say, the game is 8 minutes 30 seconds old. Careful about the block here, we don't have a staff. 8 minutes 30 seconds old. 1-0 doesn't have a level 3. That is due to a lot of map control. And worms are powerful, but worms also take forever to get on the field. 1 minute of production plus travel speed. That's like 2 minutes.
A player's forces are under attack.
Depends on where your army is, of course. Moon is answering this with talents. My favorite unit. Talents make everything better. Talents even made the Knight of Mirror better recently. But I think so far Moon is quite comfortable. As he only sees the 2. I think a lot of people looked at 1-0 versus Moon and gave Moon no chance. But regular Back to Warcraft viewers who are listening to me know better. There is a chance right now. 1-0 is struggling in this matchup on the highest level. He got a lot of cool strategies. And last week, like last week Monday or so, I would have said he's the absolute dominator in this matchup, and he got a strat that no one can beat. That is double worms, double wagons. Life showed the way, Cow showed the way. And so far, Moon has learned the lesson from the younglings. Claws plus 12, not too bad. Knight of Mirror, most overhated matchup. It's not that bad. Very much agree. Oh, Katga's pipe for the undead. This turns the army into a little bit of a perpetuum mobile, as statues can generate mana with mana cost. And the flute gives them mana regeneration as well. Can you explain why 1-2 doesn't go for a third hero? Of course. So, if you go for a third hero, your XP gets split by 3 instead of 2. And you want higher level Death Knight and Lich. The usual third hero would be a Naga, but the Naga mostly offers slow. You got that covered by the Worm already. Same for a little bit of area of effect damage. This is not what's supposed to happen. These crows, man. He didn't anticipate the early web, as 120 is usually a little late with that. The entire investment into the crows down the drain. This was a massive loss in DPS. One mistake and now another crow. Oh no. This game for 11 minutes and 30 seconds looked really good. And Moon did a lot of things correctly. But the crow position wasn't it, man. And then at some point, it's relatively simple. We got an Invu potion still. Not willing to use it now, but Moon's army is basically non-existent. Coil. Oh, anticipated though. All of a sudden the DK is in trouble and Moon is alive. Barely. Barely alive, but he's alive. Speaking of barely, we don't have a bear to heal him up now. So yeah, basically, there is no great third hero that offers a lot. Coil level 3 is really good for nuke and healing the worms. Nova level 3 is almost essential to deal with crows. And there's nothing really that brings unique value that you desperately need, so you prioritize high level Coil, high level Nova. Can Moon recover here, man? He got the better economy now. 120 is an upkeep the entire time. And we are not going for wagons.
Player's forces are under attack.
Oh, again, one crow immediately web. Moon is not careful enough, it seems. That focus fire is looking good though. Damage is still trickling in. If you lose a worm, that's 7 food, 400 gold. Despite the early disaster,
A player's forces
Moon is holding his ground. And 120. If you have a situation like this, I think you can just go Gargs. Lich, a bit mispositioned here. The damage is crazy against the worms, but so is the healing. Crows marching forward, always being webbed one by one. Very, very, very little mana, despite the pipe. Pipe and flute, by the way. How sick. And Moon got the supply lead. Can anyone explain to me, like, there's a couple of undeads here, right? Wouldn't Gargs... Ah! Wouldn't Gargs fix everything? And there he is building the second crypt. Can anyone explain why crows are better than hippos versus worms? Of course! So... Crows... Wait, where are they? There you are. Crows have piercing damage and very high piercing damage as well. Plus, crows have fairy fire that reduce the armor of a unit, so they do even more damage. Then they have piercing damage, which gets amplified versus worms as they have light armor, and that's like 1.5 times the damage or something. So you have a high base damage, you reduce the armor for more damage, and you have piercing damage to get bonus damage. So that's an insane amount of damage. Problem is, they're very squishy, but you deal damage from range. So yeah, you gotta pay attention to them and position them correctly, but their potential is infinitely higher. You can always use them also for hero focus, for example, because fairy fire works on everything. Hippos are a bit tankier, so if you see there is gargoyles, you would want some hippos for sure. But if you know you can operate from range and it's no melee combat, crows are better. And hippos, to add to that, if there's no air units, hippos are useless because they can only attack air. If there's no air, you can turn the crows into talons and they still hold value on the ground. Destroyers also light armor? Yes. Almost every air unit is light armor except flying machines.
A player's forces are under attack.
Oh, hippos and gargs are unarmored. True. But piercing damage is still good against them. Just less bonus damage. So I hope this solved it. Melee air versus air is unarmored. Ranged air is always light. Except gyros, yes. I am super curious how Moon is salvaging this incoming Garg threat now. He sees the mass crypt. So I think you must go Panda for Drunken Haze. That is essential. The nuke is not on level 3. The Panda is high strength. He can survive. And the mischance is just too good to not go for it. You could also go Pit Lord for Howl of Terror. But the Pit Lord can't attack air too well. Doesn't add too much. I hope they fix this matchup soon. Horrible, says X-Lord. You don't like unit diversity, constant counters, one unit counters the other, and you have to respond to your opponent. You can play literally every single unit on both sides to make it super exciting with lots of burst damage and counters against each other. You don't like that? I think it is, alongside Human Night Elf, the best matchup in the game by far. You can play worms, you can play wagons, you can play air bombs, you can play necro wagons, you can play banshees. On the other side, you of course respond to whatever the undead is doing. As Moon is doing now with Ancients of Wind. Lumber Echo and Shambles. That's correct, actually. We're only on 2 rules. We're mining out. No expansion for 120 then, huh? He's gonna go into a lot of Gargs. Adds a Dreadlord for Vampiric Aura. And Moon is going Hippos instead of Panda. In this case, maybe Keeper third always feels bad because he gets nuked so quickly. This fight will be freaking epic, man. We got 2 heal scrolls versus 1. No level 5 is really, really bad for 120, I think. Way worse than not having level 5 for Moon. Level 3 mana burn is always like a luxury. It's the calm before the storm. 3-3 upgrades on Moon. 3-2 on 1-0. So once again, we see a new late game strategy, which is, of course, bringing an older strategy back. But after Banshees, after Necro Wagons, after Double Worm, Double Wagon, it's now the Gargoyle transition. And I was always worried about this. In a perfect world, there's no... I think there's nothing that the Night Elf can build to reliably counter this. We do have 13 hippos, though. So it's a numbers game. Moon needs higher number hippos than 1-0 needs Gargs because of Vamp Aura, because of Nova. And I think he needs a Panda. Would you say Gargoyles make everything better? Absolutely not. More often than not, Gargoyles make everything worse. Okay, Moon has decided we are not going for the Panda. We're not stealing away XP from the Demon Hunter. Here's the fight. Roared up. 1-0 isn't looking. Oh, shit. Can he salvage this? He's still got a heal scroll. We got another heal scroll on Moon. He's level 5 pretty much immediately. Oh, no. How do you traverse the map? With your eyes closed. Here's the focus fire. Oh my god, 1-0. Absolute disaster. GG. Moon tears him apart. Moon tears him apart. Unreal, man. 1-0. What are you doing? So, in this early game, Moon will probably do somewhat the same. In maybe different execution. Demon Hunter, harass, a little bit of creeping himself. Question is mana burn or immolation first, and how much attention to the DK, how much attention to the ghouls. 1-0 has a lot of different options. The first one he already didn't pick, and that's a ghoul pull. Sending a ghoul over to attack the enemy Ancient of War doesn't work. Or does work, but he's not doing that. You can expand on bigger maps. Or you try to reach level 2 and 3.
A player's forces are under
Pressure the DK, a DH. And then we go from there. Acolyte moves into the creeps and gives us cell or an unsummon command. So the creeps are following. This usually buys a couple of seconds as the creeps reposition. So 1-0. No skull. Moon also checks. Nah. Any expansions? Any sacrificial skulls in your inventory? No. Then it's a straight up game.
forces are under attack.
And that straight up game went into Moon's favor. So, as so often, 1-0's first map is oftentimes the weakest. We've seen it yesterday versus Ice Orc. The game was incredibly close.
Town is under siege.
Game 1 that was. And then 1-0 figures out the enemy's patterns, mistakes,
A player's forces are under attack.
and starts to snowball from there more often than not. If Moon takes a win here on 1-0's first loser's pick, that's huge. Starts with a claw. Kinda nice. Starts with invisibility. Really nice. So 1-0 has no reveal again. It's a bit odd.
A player's forces are under attack.
Telestaff against possible surrounds. A bit of money in flux as well.
player's forces are
And we
under
contest
attack.
each other. And again, if the DK is low, that's really good news for Moon. It's not as bad as it was before, where we had 9 minutes and no level 3, but 1-0 wants this little green spot here more than anything. Careful, don't get surrounded next to the trees. So far, Moon really, really clean. Even on a big map like this, 1-0, not able to get an early advantage. And we're camping at the tavern. This is the Naga timing. And then 1-0, do you want to be close to a Naga? Do you want to go into a Naga battle with Moon? A little bit of a bash, bit unfortunate. But we have boots, we have a staff, we can get out of surrounds. And 1-0 going for the Lich again. Feels like Moon testing the waters a little bit. Naga when? He is sharking around the Naga spawn position to instantly... Ooh, that was risky. I think he wanted to pass an item.
A player's forces are under attack.
Last game, Moon got a lot of ghouls. Immolation and another kill. The bash is so risky here. But Moon staying in this. There's no coil thanks to the mana burn, but there is one soon. 10 mana points away. So it is disruptive, but it's not destructive.
A player's forces are under attack.
And here we go. Level 3 and 2 unlocked. Great rhythm by Moon again. Similar to Springtime, even though it's a very different map. He probably can't prevent level 3 for much longer. Water Elementals hit quite hard. But I would say this is a great early game. And he comes in with Fork Lightning. And he is preventing level 3. 1-0 chooses safety over the level 3. Wouldn't have been enough even. Oh, then it's even better than I thought. Running circles around the undead heroes, getting another ghoul. And more reinforcements, more map control. We got some great slow on the Naga already. And now the Dryads are coming into the mix for even more slow.
A player's forces are under attack.
It kind of feels like 1-0 is grasping at straws already. This hyper-aggressive early tier 2 play by Live, Kaho and Moon seems to be the solution for now. And you try to... I feel like all the undeads are trying to find some late game answers, but the problem is really the mid game right now. But then the question is, what do you do? Because you don't really have an answer to Naga slow, Dryad slow. Every single camp is contested. Ghoul Frenzy is ready. Big power spike for 1-0. This item... I was about to say he stole it, but no, he didn't. Big heal potion, really nice. Might be using that on the Lich right away if that's worth it for a level 1 hero. Naga gets another slow arrow in. Body block with statue and DK, but it might not be... might not be enough if not for the potion. So that's a huge consumable gone. On the other side, we have a bear. No redo, interestingly. Demon! He's blocked! No! The bear blocked the retreat. He didn't have a town portal no more. Oh my god. The sabotage bear. This is, of course, not allowed to happen ever. B2W rip, everybody. And then 120 got the opportunity and rips his head off in the fight. There was no way out. There was no Rettungsgasse. You gotta have a Rettungsgasse in the fight. And if there's no way out with a Demon Hunter hurt like this, yeah, this is destined to happen. So, in game 1, there was half a disaster when Moon donated the talents away in the first fight. Now we have a disaster with the Demon Hunter dead. We get the middle camp, which is kind of fascinating that Moon is going for that. Very, very, very risky. Dryads can't be Nova'd and coiled because they're magic immune. This one survives even on 5. And here's the worm push. Pretty classic 10-minute 30. Can Moon hold? The talents are not there yet. The talents won't be there yet because he needs that upgrade. I feel this Demon Hunter loss was a little bit too much. You can't lose a couple of crows. You cannot lose your carry. And that is a gift. Wrap it up. Yeah, when the power spike is coming. And it doesn't matter if it's the 9-minute 30 destroyer power spike or if it's the 10-minute 30 worm power spike. If you allow such a catastrophe to happen, the power spike tears you apart. I think the game plan should be pretty much out there. We saw it on Springtime. We saw it on Shattered Exile. Get level 2 demon, get immolation and mana burn, and pressure, 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 pressure. Immolation versus ghouls, mana burn versus DK. Don't let the DK unfold. And I think Moon did that masterfully. Always at the right spot, always at the right time.
A player's forces are under attack.
And how does 120 stem against this? I think if we're on even level, this is always fine for Moon in the early game. Every ghoul kill helps the early at mid game. So far, no real adjustments. Huh? But if this goes through, that's level 2. Yeah, that was nice. The Warden taken out immediately, so there's no mana burn kill possible. Detonate against the skeletons, but 120 maneuvers them to the side. And then the Wisp detonate is not really worth it, and the Wisp gets sniped too quickly. One more kill is level 2, and with that we get on Holy Aura, and then the problems start. Here we go. Everything is faster now. You can see the momentum in the fight shifting immediately. And Moon is in trouble now. This is the first early game that goes well for 120. He went Aura 1? Oh my god, I didn't even see. Yeah,
A player's
good, then
forces are
forget
under
everything I
attack.
said. That's an interesting thing, huh? I think that makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's an old way of playing the DK from like 2008, the Gargoyle days. You get mana burned anyway, so go Aura first. Ooh, Wisp down. He can't go for the Naga right away if the Demon Hunter gets chased away, but not enough damage. I feel like Moon needs a play. And the Ancient of War needs Moon's Demon Hunter here on the left hand and the right hand side. Naga slithers away. If she's surrounded, she's just straight up dead. How does the Demon Hunter just leave her there?
A player's forces are under attack. A player's forces are under attack.
Very calm game. Very calm game is usually not in favor of the elf. You want to cause trouble. You want to be problematic and 1-0 with the last hit. Boy needed a little bit of warm-up on map 1. And with the win on map 2, this is looking fantastic now. Everything in order. Where is the wrench you can throw in the gears? Far, far, far away from Demon Hunter 3. Actually, DK closer to level 3 than the Demon Hunter is. Got a ring, that's nice. Got the boots, that's nice. Naga working on her own Fork Lightning. And Dryads are coming for more map control, but I say more map control. He needs to get map control in the first place. This is why you play Naga. Didn't work at all. Trying to contest some spots, but 1-0. Moving out of the middle, out of the contested spots right away. Good adjustments, and they're all clicking. So how fast can you adjust on the fly, Moon? At least the Demon Hunter is alive, but if you can't prevent level 3, that's a problem. There we go. Here we go. This is what you want the Dryads for. Classic Moon play. 2 screens. The Naga is creeping with the archers. The Demon Hunter is causing trouble with the Dryads. Dryads can't really be contested with Coil Nova because they're magic immune. There's only 1 Fiend, so the piercing damage isn't high enough, and somehow you have to deal with the Demon Hunter yourself. This is, of course, a bit of opportunity cost. This is the wrench for the gears to slow down the ghouls. You don't want a 9 ghoul push at the 10-11 minute mark. But was it enough? Was it enough? We don't have a boneyard yet, but the Acolyte already seems to be in position. Or are we going for a fast push? I think that's it, eh? 1-0 had a lot of resources. Now he queued some stuff. It is Naga third. Okay. Strategic variety it is. And we are moving from the worms into a faster push at the usually 9-minute 30 mark. The old way it was played. Do or die. And is Moon ready for this? Without a level 3 Demon Hunter, very, very, very questionable if he's ready for this. 1-0 still waiting for his upgrades. Even for a 60-foot Ziggurat. Takes the pedal of the metal a little bit, huh? Giving Moon more time, but where's Moon going? Consumable. If this is a heal potion or an invo potion, That's a big help. Dryads are very hurt though. Creep check comes in too late. Red spot instead. Demon is 3. We got the redo out. Mana Stone on 1-0, very strong. He can absorb a bit of Coil Nova. Focus Fire is good. Destroyer in the air. And is there enough anti-air with the Dryads this hurt? I kinda doubt it. We got 3 bears on the ground though. That should be a good answer against the Fiends. But the 2 Destroyers destroy that as the name suggests. We have amazing items for 1-0. Moon needs a staff. Got the staff. The damage was missing and the coil on the Lich is amazing. Bears mauling away at the Lich. Naga kind of left alone and everything else here is left to die. 1-0. 1 kill after the next. The high value bears, man. There's a redo in this bear. And Archer's getting slaughtered. The good old Destroyer push. As if it's 2022. It didn't hit the base though. And Moon is still alive. But that gives the red spot to 1-0. Moon has to traverse the entire map to get to the other red spot. In a way, pretty good that Moon caused the fight here. And not in the base. Otherwise he would have probably been dead. Could have fought with Moonwells, but there is still hope. More Dryads now. The feed numbers are manageable, I would say. Oh, Boulder. That's a lot of damage. Very cool to have the Ancient here. Don't deny, please. Thank you. Katga's Pipe, very sweet. Destroyers in. Can't steal too much except the wolves. Oh, he got it with the Destroyer. Level 6 Frostwolf dead. What a play by 1-0, dude. And we have no TP. And we're cornered. And 1-0 has shop access. And 1-0 has momentum. And 1-0 got the levels. And Moon, what do you got? A staff. 4-3-3 heroes. Heal scroll, upgrades, it's all there. A kingdom for a staff. Archer is not part of the defense. This push is very powerful. Moon needs to rely on a Demon Hunter in a great position, but it's not that easy to get into that position. Moonwells, limited. Item starved he is as well. At the moment he can't go for any potions. Has to free up a slot before. But with the Moonwells, with the trees, with instant reinforcements, he sells the staff to get the potion. Alright. Trust in the Demon Hunter. Amplify him. Keep the slippers. And now the tug of war goes on. Mana is looking pretty bleak. On the undead side especially. Demon Hunter didn't use too much mana, so it's relatively efficient to heal him up. And it's only Dryads now against the Destros. Naga, Lich, Fiend focus. Is the counter to them though? First, Fiend down. It is the big question. Will there be Fiends in the end or will there be Dryads in the end? What controls the airspace? Destroyer saves to the side. Can the Demon Hunter get the kill? That's 10 food. He can't reach, it seems like. Oh, the Destroyer controlled by 1-0. Fantastic. But it's still 10 food. That's basically dead. On the other side, Bears falling. They need a redo. A Demon Hunter against the world. Are we locking in a Coil Nova? Not really. Mana Stone is gone already. It's still nighttime. It's still some free regen. And the rejuve as well. This should be easy dispels, and it is. Statue is doing the Lord's work here. Moon stemming against the defeat. Can he reach the shop? He has to, but he has no gold. Oh, he does. How do you get out of here? Not with the Naga! Yet another save. Moon is spending his entire income on potions to keep the heroes alive. And 120 banging his head against the Night Elf base, and it doesn't work. For now. Economy is better for Moon. More income for Moon. But 120's army is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. These two destroyers were basically dead. They were 2 hits away from dying. But the positioning over the trees in combination with the statue healed them up to full again. Both, of course, amazing sustain.
Town is under siege.
Okay. Moon does not crumble, but can he win this match?
Players' forces are under attack.
120 getting shop control. Loves how he stacks up on invo potions. What's left to creep is the question. Not much. The upper left-hand side and like the consumable here. But I think 120 is just going back. These archers are just spies and they got caught. So Moon is needed at home. Now it's daytime. Now the moon wells aren't regenerating. Interesting how Moon is holding on to that Katka's pipe. Lots of elves sell it. Might be necessary to sell it now for potions. If Moon wins, it's via Demon Hunter, but I don't think he has the necessary Dryad numbers. For once, he's missing Dryads, as the focus fire is so strong. If 120 is able to deal with the bears as undeads usually are, then this is his game to win. Bear number 1, down. Bear number 2, down. Demon Hunter is only attacking the Naga. Not sure if that's the greatest decision here. 1 fiend down though. Frost Armor is helping. Moon needs some reinforcements, and he's getting some reinforcements. Finally level 4 for evasion level 2. Demon Hunter is a beast, but for how much longer? Aiming for the Lich. Hail Mary attempt. Invo potion to the rescue. This feels like a Happy vs. Foggy match from the 2020s. Is not too far from it. Even with the Lich Hail Mary. Now we got a coil again. Can decide to use it on the Lich, and then what play is left? It is a long daytime in this fight for survival. If you deal with the Fiends, the Dryads can deal with the Destros. Sweet, playing it on the edge here. One desperate hero attempt after the next, but the Naga is equipped with yet another potion. It feels like Moon is at the mercy of 120. That's it. Naga dead. And if the heroes fall, there's nothing left to do. 120 back-to-back wins. The early game adjustments, man. The early game adjustments coming in clutch. Aura first that I didn't see in forever. Creating distance between DK and Demon Hunter. So Moon can go heavier on immolation again. That would be an adjustment. He can start a creeping game, which might work. Very interesting to see that it's 0 ghoul pulls by 120. That time seemed to be over again. But rest be assured, there will be ghoul pulls in the future.
A player's forces are under attack.
So this game, we are indeed going coil again. Ring +3 on the Demon Hunter is what you want. You want to contest, you want to be in the undead's face, and there will be physical damage exchanged. A ring mitigates that a little bit. We need the moon of game 1. and the first half of game 2. But we are indeed going for a creeping game here, thus far. No harass. Moon is on the opposite side of the map. He gets the guaranteed level 2. But that's totally fine for 1-0. What is the play then? Where do we attack? When do we attack? The 2 spots early are pretty much undiscussable. It's always the orange next to the base. It's always the green turtles. But then where? Easiest is the shop, and Moon is prepared for that with the detonate wisp, with the scout wisp.
A player's forces are under attack.
And if this doesn't work, you can fall back onto the little green and get your experience there. That's nicely well thought out. Oh! Wait, did 1-0 get this one? He get a huntsman! One of the 2! Oh, that's annoying. Just like Shadow Melt is quite annoying.
A player's forces are under attack.
No, don't get stuck again. There was a chance, but with 4 archers waiting in the shadows. You might not want to surround here. We also got the staff, so surround is kind of nonsensical anyway. Okay, good burns. Not too much mana for immolation. And with that, the damage numbers of this Demon Hunter are relatively low. But again, as long as the DK isn't level 3, the world is fine. We go Lich this time again. So this is getting a bit trickier for Moon. Usually, when you saw the Lich second, you could bank on the fact that it's worms. And it's going to be a slow late mid game. Now with that Destroyer push brought back on Autumn Leaves, there's a second chance. We go Immolation once again in the base. This will be a staff. Just gotta be careful that the Lich doesn't kill you, and the Lich is coming in soon. Nicely disruptive. Take the Acolyte off the grid. If you kill an Acolyte here now, there is no backup. Body block. Superb though. But it's 4 Acolytes not mining. Question is, what's happening in the middle? The Naga... Oh, that Lich here, by the way. Naga wanted to creep. 1-0 disrupts that. 0 XP on her, but creep still standing. DK doesn't get any progress done either. How much gold difference is this? 9k. That was 250 gold. Not bad. First Nova used on one single wisp, but Moon knows, of course. Will the Rock Golem be in his favor? Shall the boulders fly onto your enemies' heads? Here we go. Easy mana burn. A small one, but still 50 mana gone is 50 mana gone. We have Call Nova. The staff's on cooldown. Moon gotta be careful. No blunder like Shadowed Exile allowed. And here comes the Naga. This is the timing you want. Attack the weak ghouls before there's frenzy. Just there is no staff. I'm a bit worried about this Demon Hunter. But the spells aren't that crazy yet. The majority of damage is actually coming from Naga and archers. Not even dryads. And the wind transition is here already. Whoa, that's crazy fast. That's an Ancient of Wind done before tier 3.
A player's forces are under attack.
And now we get the red spot. As 120 is busy with the lab. Ooh, I think this is so far looking pretty good. But, again, we have no boneyard. The worms are disappearing. Demon Hunter gets his immolation for free now. Kind of.
A player's forces are under attack.
With the Cloak of Flames. Also gets level 3. Super important. The Cloak is probably a sell. The wreck. Ah, do you want to save mana then? And only use the Cloak immolation? Is it good enough? 120 got level 3 as well. Scroll of the Beast is quite deadly for these ghouls. They will knock on your door. We have a Talon here. With a depth upgrade, Talon will finish this super fast to produce.
A player's forces are under attack.
Oh, Naga under pressure. We smell blood in the water, don't we? The archer, the dryad, a bit mispositioned. He wants the Naga dead, but the body block skeletons should be able to save it. Otherwise, Demon Hunter far out of the fight. Chasing far, chasing wide. So the Naga control is gone. Okay. Scroll of the Beast is not wearing off anytime soon. Where are the dryads? Where are the crows? Where is the hope? The damn 9-minute 30 pushes back. We got a heal potion on the Demon Hunter, who's of course the hero who has to salvage this. But Moon, losing more and more and more units. The late game answers, so many great late game answers. They were all in vain. And we shift back to the old reliable 9-minute 30 push. But with crows, you have a solution against the destroyer. If there's a solution against the destroyer, the bears reign supreme on the ground. Demon! Got the staff, got the potion. And if you have freedom for the bears and the fiends are dying, and then the dryads and crows can deal with the destros. And I think this is a hold. And this is a healthy hold. This is not just a I'm still alive somehow, let's see how it goes now hold. That's everybody can win this hold.
A player's forces are under attack.
Three bears, one crow, one dryad. Very atypical for Moon to be this low on dryads. They are quite lumber intensive. We only have 5 lumber wisps at the moment.
Player's forces are under attack.
Cloak is 10 damage per second per target. Level 2 immolation is 11 damage per target. But immolation is ticking once every 0.5 seconds. So it's more reliable to do damage. That's a big plus. Rune braces would have been fantastic. Naga, no frost arrow enabled. Could have gotten the crow, maybe. 50-50 fight. Invul heal scroll on 120. No big items allowed for Moon. Nicely contesting the shop. Also at the same time, nicely making sure that Moon is not getting anything big at the lab. More crows. Will crows make this life better as well? We don't have to worry about worms. We don't have to worry about casters. What you see is what you get. That's the downside of this 9-minute 30 push of 120. There's no big second layer. There's no easy plan B. Moon at 60 now. Trying to break this contain. Sell the cloak, I'm with you. He believes in the cloak, though. 2 crows. We have Web, of course. We shall not have a springtime disaster again. This game is too fragile to drop 3 crows into Web into kills. You can get an illusion, but... Oh, 1 Web. This is tempting, of course. The kiting game stops then, but the Web gets 1, 2 crows without them doing big damage. This is their position in the safety with the range. Demon Hunter level 4. Destroyer 1 out of the fight. Repositioned. Naga is in trouble. Again, a big investment. DK at 50% being slowed by the Dryad, being slowed as well by the Naga. 1-0 in trouble here, but the heal scroll is ready to the rescue. Demon Hunter got a potion, can dive a little deeper. Frost Armor, lifesaver. Oh, Moon, I don't think you get your target here. A couple of things. He's cleaning the ground. Abomination is coming in as a meat shield. But that was a big swing and Moon missed. Healing for free now, though. Can 1-0 wake up the creeps? It should be relatively easy. Moon at 60, not producing. 400 gold. Is it too stressful? The fight for the red spot. Big item. And 1-0 gets it without contested. More HP thanks to the Belt of Giant Strength is nice for the DK. Moon went for quite some hero kills. Could give it to the DK. Could give it to the Naga even. The Naga is very squishy. She can't be coiled. She will be attacked. No Dark Ritual at the moment. Moon's production is ramping up once again. 400 gold spent. Staffs are good, but there's a Nova. Oh, if that bear could reach you. Gets the kill. Big value. And the Demon Hunter is low. He has to fear a coil here. Staff is not ready. 17 seconds. Moon is overcommitting with the Demon a little bit, soaking up a lot of damage, disrupting the position here too. Redo, dispelled. 1-0 is just fighting this better. I feel like Moon a bit without a plan here, maybe. Is there recovery? Abomination had no disease cloud. Big. Bears falling. Demon Hunter still in the race. Now we got a staff again, which makes things a lot more secure if you hit the button correctly. But 1-0 seems to be losing fewer units. More sustainable, this army. The statues, of course, fantastic. But if you kill this fiend... Try to deny, doesn't get it. Even supply. 1-0, a little richer. Little Richard, basically. Oh, hello, thank you, Ogre. That was fun. Crow, 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 crow. You could fake more crows now. It's a bit obvious. Maybe bait a web or 2. So the real crows are safe. In this situation, level 5 Demon Hunter is a win condition. It's not a guaranteed win, but it is a win condition. Here is the crow value. The problem with crows is they get wrecked by Nova Fork Lightning if Nova Fork Lightning is strong. And we're getting to that point. Demon Hunter can be staffed, shall be staffed. But the Staff of Tally is on 20-second cooldown. Demon Hunter is not doing any damage. Web again. Trying to stay in this fight for as long as possible. Invo Potion was stacked up by 1-0. Great presence of mind. Great multitasking. He's just baiting more attacks. Oh my god, he uses the staff on the bear. Scroll of healing. Is that enough though? So risky. Dryad numbers are rising. A missed mana burn here for sure. There shouldn't be a coil available in such fights. He's focusing on the Lich now. And 1-0 again. These fights, he's just doing it better. It's just more sustainable. 3 destroyers in the air. Demon. Staff is not ready. Staff is not ready. 2, 1. Frostborn hungers. Literally the last second that the writing was on the wall. Staffing a bear when the Demon Hunter is that hurt is a choice. And Moon is fighting without an orb the entire time. You're right. You're right. And with that, Without an orb, you can't win. And without the Demon Hunter attacking, you can't win. It started off great for Moon. Game 1 and half of game 2. And then the game plan didn't work. And there was a blunder. And there was a dono.